You know what's pretty weird? I haven't pulled out my wand in a long time. I've been keeping it sheltered for like years, but I feel like now is a good time to pull out my wand, swing it around, and do some magic for all the people out there who want to see some magic. Ho ho, you ready to see my wand? It's coming. It's coming fast. Welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, John MaffmanJones. Today's featured movie is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's the latest installment in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, but Harry Potter has no existence in this movie because this film takes place decades and decades before his existence, or even his parents' existence. Our new character, Newt Scamander, who's played by Eddie Redmayne, has a briefcase full of animals. He's trying to preserve life for all these magical creatures. He comes to New York with this briefcase, and a couple of them get loose. Along the way, he bumps into some new characters, including a couple who are either muggles or non-muggles. And also, amidst all this, we have a couple other characters who are trying to cause some really evil things to happen, including Colin Farrell's character, who has a couple things going on up his sleeve. So yeah, there's basically a bunch of subplots that come together to form a movie. Let me tell you the truth here. I liked Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I'm not quite sure if I liked the movie. I liked the characters. I liked Eddie Redmayne. I liked Catherine Waterston. I liked Dan Fogel. Dan Fogel in this movie is great. He is the main muggle. In this universe, though, they call muggles no-maj in America. So he's the best no-maj in the whole movie. Very likable. He makes the movie very watchable because of his charismatic acting and way of reacting to everything he sees as a muggle moving forward with these non-muggle characters. I can't say that the movie is particularly memorable. It's a nice installment into the wizarding world that expands the world, gives us some new bright characters that we could definitely get behind, a villain who, without spoiling anything, I could see becoming a very compelling villain with sequels, but didn't exactly care for him in this story. From an aesthetic and visual standpoint, everything looks great. J.K. Rowling has a great sense of scale and a great sense of vision for her world, and it continues from the Harry Potter verse into this new verse that is the same verse, but you know what I mean. It just takes place in a different time period. And seeing New York, my hometown, being utilized for the Wizarding World is really fun. It's interesting seeing how the Wizarding World is implemented into the world of New York, a place where city that never sleeps, people working every day, every night, but then you have this magic going on in between underground and in other buildings, and it's really cool seeing these mystical creatures showing up in an environment like that. If I have to be honest, I really wasn't into the movie until midway or 3/4 of the way in. It's once I started to realize that I was actually invested in these characters when I actually got invested into the story. And the last few scenes of the movie, I genuinely liked. I did not care for what was going on with Ezra Miller's character, like what he becomes. I liked him as a character, but what he goes through, though, was kind of silly. The main character, Newt Scamander, I didn't really care for at first, but the more you learn about him, the more you do actually kind of care for him. And by the end of the movie, I did care for him. I understood why he was the way he was. He has a lack of eye contact throughout the entire movie, and it's also really hard to understand him sometimes with this really thick British accent that he's going for. But that's just Eddie Redmayne. But when you learn his backstory, I could kind of put it into my own brain why he acts the way he does, and it's relatable. Although I still think the idea of having 4 more movies in this universe with these characters in particular is silly. It's really, really absurd and silly. I know you want to set up a universe and you want to have, as a studio, more movies down the line, but let's have a compelling story first. And I honestly don't believe this movie was compelling enough to warrant 4 more movies. I could definitely see the story continuing, but I don't see yet fully where 4 more 2.5-hour movies can come into play with these characters. I can't see it. But overall, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, that's a mouthful for a title, is a very inventive and visually vibrant film. It definitely delves further and deeper into the Wizarding world without having the characters that we were familiar with in the last 8 movies. It does a good job of establishing new characters that we can get behind by the time the movie's over. The story is so-so. There's a lot of plots that mishmash together and create something that is somewhat cohesive, but it also could be confusing to the average moviegoer. I feel like the plot got really muddled down in a lot of weird subtleties that were trying to come across as genuine but seemed forced at the same time. I liked aspects of Fantastic Beasts, but I don't know if I liked the full movie. So that's why I'm going to give Fantastic Beasts a 3 out of 5 stars. It's a full course Applebee's meal. If you're a fan of the Wizarding World and you've been a fan of the last 8 movies of Harry Potter, I definitely recommend you check this out. If you're a newcomer, I would give you a little warning in the sense that you may not be able to absorb all the information that's coming at you in this movie, and it might be a little jarring, so have that warning in mind. But I think this is a very enjoyable blockbuster that has really fun characters, and if you can get soaked into the story, you will be invested at some point. But now I want to know from you guys, as I wave my wand around, hoping that something happens. What did you think of Fantastic Beasts? Let me know in the comments down below. Who's your favorite new character if you did? And are you looking forward to 4 more movies if that's what we're really, truly getting over the course of the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years? If you enjoyed this review, please like, subscribe, and check out my Facebook and Twitter accounts in the info box. Social media for the win. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll see you guys next time. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.